I had a friend who moved to Bee Cave for the views but left because of reality. And with over a decade of real estate experience in Texas, I know the common deal breakers people face in Bee Cave. Hey, I'm John Tips, and you just discovered your local expert. This video, we're going to discuss Bee Cave, Texas, a highly sought after area in the beautiful hill country in the greater Austin area. This charming spot has a lot to offer, but there are some things you should know before deciding if it's the right place for you. The big question is Bee Cave really as scenic as it looks? Or are there hidden downsides? Watch till the end as I uncover a bonus tip that will blow your mind. Let's not waste any more time and get started. Starting with number 5, the commute to Austin. Living in Bee Cave and driving to Austin is like living in a quiet, cozy house far away, but needing to cross a busy, crowded road every day to get to work. It's nice and peaceful where you live, but the drive can feel slow and tiring, especially when there's traffic. At first, you might enjoy the views, but after a while, it can get frustrating. Bee Cave is about 14 miles from Austin, which sounds close, but the drive can feel like much longer during rush hour. On good days, it takes about 20 to 25 minutes to get to Austin, but when traffic builds up, the trip can take a lot more time. The main roads, Highway 71 and FM 620, are the most common routes, but they're also known for being busy. Morning and evening commutes are especially tough, with long lines of cars and slow-moving traffic. If you work in Austin, you'll need to plan for extra time on the road during these peak busy times. Highway 71 and FM 620 both have their challenges. Highway 71 often gets crowded, especially near intersections with big roads like FM 620. Sometimes accidents or road work make things even slower. FM 620 is no different, with lots of cars and occasional construction slowing things down. Both roads can be unpredictable, so it's important to be ready for the delays. If having a shorter, stress-free commute is important to you, this is something to consider before choosing Bee Cave. It's a beautiful area to live in, but the daily drive can be a downside for some people. All right, coming in at number 4, let's talk about cost of living. Last year, I helped a young couple, Sarah and James, move to Bee Cave, Texas. They were excited because it seemed like a perfect balance, close to Austin for work, but far enough for the peace. At first, everything seemed great, but after a few months, they realized that living in Bee Cave wasn't as affordable as they hoped. Between the rising home prices, high property taxes, and everyday expenses, they felt like they were barely keeping up. They tried to adjust it by cutting back on extras like dining out and weekend activities, thinking it would make a difference. While it helped a little, they still felt the financial strain. The cost of living in Bee Cave was much higher than they had planned for, and they started to feel stressed. And they're not alone. Living in Bee Cave, Texas can be pretty expensive. Homes here cost a lot. The average price of around $1.1 million, much higher than most places in the US. Renting isn't cheap either. A 2-bedroom can cost about $1,990 a month. Property taxes are high, since Texas has some of the highest property taxes in the country. On top of that, groceries, transportation, and utilities cost more than usual, making living here about 29% higher than the national average. To live comfortably, families need to make about $178,200 a year. It's important to budget carefully if you're thinking about moving here. Moving on to number 3, limited nightlife and entertainment. Last month, I worked with a young couple, Mia and Jake, who were excited to move to Bee Cave, Texas. They loved the peaceful vibe and the idea of being close to Austin. After settling in, they realized there weren't any clubs or places to party in Bee Cave. They missed having a nightlife scene where they could hang out with their friends. To make up for it, they started driving into Austin on weekends to find the lively atmosphere they wanted. While Austin had plenty of options, the long drive back late at night made it exhausting for them. They found themselves wishing there were more local options closer to home. If for someone who enjoys the nightlife, Bee Cave might feel too quiet. While it's a great place to live, you'll need to head into Austin to get the real party scene. While the Hill Country Gallery offers some options, it's no match to the Austin vibrant scene. Okay, coming in at number 2, rapid growth and crowding. Living in Bee Cave during the rapid growth is like moving to a quiet beach that suddenly becomes a popular tourist spot. At first, it's peaceful and calm, but as more people discover it, the crowds start to take over. The once open spaces become busier and the traffic builds up, making it harder to enjoy the serenity you came for. If you're looking for a small town feel, the growing popularity can make it feel less like a hidden gem and more like a bustling hotspot. Bee Cave, Texas has grown a lot over the past 20 years. Back in 2000, only about 1,000 people lived here, but in 2020, the number had jumped to over 9,000. While the population has dropped slightly since then, it's still much higher than it used to be. With the growth, more homes and apartments are being built, like the Pearl development, which will add more townhomes and apartments to the area. The city has also worked on improving roads to handle the extra cars, but it's not enough to avoid traffic jams, especially during rush hour. The fast growth has made Bee Cave feel less like a small town and more crowded. The city has tried to manage traffic by making some of the tough choices, like not expanding certain roads due to costs. Despite these efforts, the roads are still packed and it can be hard to get around quickly. If you're looking for a quiet, peaceful place to live, the growing crowds and traffic might not be what you're expecting. While Bee Cave has a lot to offer, the small town feel is harder to find with more people moving here. All right, moving on to number 1, wildlife encounters. Living in Bee Caves means being close to nature, which comes with its own set of wildlife encounters. The area is home to a variety of snakes, including the Texas rat snake and the western diamondback rattlesnake. While most of these snakes aren't dangerous, it's still important to be careful, especially during the warmer months when they're more active. You might also spot white-tailed deer in your yard or along the roads and in common areas. Additionally, scorpions like the Texas bark scorpion can sometimes be found, and while their sting hurts, they're rarely dangerous. For some people, seeing wildlife adds the charm of living in Bee Cave and helps them feel more connected to nature. However, if you're not used to having animals and snakes and deer close, it could be a deal breaker. The city offers resources to help residents safely coexist with wildlife, and many people find it manageable. But if you're someone who prefers to live in an area with fewer wild encounters, it's something to keep in mind. It's all about finding the right balance between enjoying nature and feeling comfortable in your home. If you're still watching this video, it means you found this video helpful. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more future videos like this one. Additionally, I have a bonus tip for you. Lack of public transportation. Bee Cave doesn't have a lot of public transportation options, which can be a challenge if you don't want to drive. There are a couple metro rail stations that are somewhat nearby. The Highland Metro Station and the Metro Rail at Leander Station are a couple ways to get into Austin. The Capital Metro bus service also finds limited routes that are not as frequent or convenient as you might find in a bigger city. So if you're hoping to rely on public transportation, you might find it difficult to get around. The lack of public transportation means you'll probably need the car wherever you need to go. With fewer bus routes and trains that don't run often, it can be tough to rely on them daily commutes and errands. For those who don't drive, getting to stores or service in Bee Cave can be hard. If you're thinking about moving here, make sure you consider how important having a car is. Bee Cave is a great place to live, but it is important to know that driving is usually the best way to get around. If you like this video and expect to see more content, do drop a comment down below. Also, I ask you to click on the videos on the screen to see my other videos. Once again, my name is Sean Tips. I'm a realtor from Austin, Texas, and if I can be of service to you, my contact information is in the description box below. If you want to keep receiving real estate market updates about the Austin metro area, make sure to subscribe and follow me here and my other socials. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. And remember, I'm your local expert, and I'll see you around town.